Glenn Big Bad Wolfe. Lights out, Toney.
Any questions here? Let's get it on.
Side soon. He told us yesterday, quote, "I don't like to box."
They weigh in the night before the fight. So right now, and I think we should watch out for James Toney's right hand over a lazy jab.
Good short say about himself is that he is underestimated as a counterpuncher.
Guy hit you with shots that you ain't supposed to get hit with.
Toney was a quarterback and a tight safety.
Underneath Toney's head, and that's where he has to keep it.
And as Toney stands against the ropes, could he be
Much.
Keep in mind he had no nutrition. That's the kind of fight Glenn Wolfe.
And even in the Tiberi fight, as tired as he was.
Right hand over the uppercut inside. All right.
Thanks a lot, Jim. I appreciate it.
George Carlin.
Jim, if James Toney wants to make this the better of it inside, but it's tough inside. Stays outside like
Back up against the ropes.
well. Toney has the ability to box.
Extremely spongy, very much like a mattress. Will
Well,
their
that
legs
just-
tire more quick? One of the rare occasions when he's been able to sneak the jab across. And now
You think 6 championship fights in 1 year is too much?
Tough fight did take something out of him.
well, he complains that he has had weight anymore. But his bigger money opportunities will be here.
When he decides,
Stands away from Wolfe and uses his superior boxing skill. 2 more uppercuts. Big rally for James Toney. Wolfe lands a right in 2 stints in prison. A lot of obstacles to overcome, and he's still a...
Come on, piece of ass. Give it to him. Eyebrow level.
Lefts, rights,
Chin down.
downstairs and up.
If you've just joined us on HBO, we welcome you live to Las Vegas. Sustained long stretches of fighting his best style.
as he's doing now, that's when he can pick Wolfe apart.
And again, Wolfe is stunned by the left up to the corner. Wolfe not firing back, though he got in a left that stemmed the momentum. So Glenn Wolfe shows you his resiliency.
Now we can look for Toney to rally back any minute now, and here he comes.
Office again. This is an office to come back to deal out a great deal of his own.
There's a few more hot
Good
rips.
fight. Only thing I don't like.
Once again, here is Toney with one of those furious fusillades.
When it comes to boxing, then Glenn Wolfe has the hand speed.
The first 4 rounds already, Glenn Wolfe has thrown 100 more punches. The busier fighter, particularly inside. Good right upper scored the first 4 rounds for James Toney. Neither Gill nor...
They're going to like the guy that flares up brilliantly for 15. Really become a factor later in the fight. The last fight, James Toney got a cramp.
Or a loosened trampoline.
Shoes, since he doesn't do much dancing, it's sort of like spats on a surfboard.
Take that quick step back and try to nail Toney with a couple of good solid punches.
Sit back and pick Wolfe off with a left and then a right.
Just going. Get that left hand back there in his face. Then come with the hook.
A wretched start to his life, in trouble with the...
2 separate.
Move inside and bang to the body as he's doing now.
This will be a Mills lane. Another James Toney spurt.
And it's not just with the
When he elects to move his legs,
those angles, that's why. Now he's dancing. There you go.
solid right hand.
For a punch, Gil.
Well, I really think Toney is a very, very good puncher, but once in a while he'll set flat-footed and he can knock you right up into the ceiling, but
Hurts him.
I really think it does. The problem is he's pressing, but he's not moving.
All right, let me see James Toney. I'm letting him mug you, James.
I would like to see 3 minutes of the real James Toney. As mentioned earlier on the program, Marvin Hagler is right.
In fact, his skull got creased by a bullet in the bullet log.
Has been rebuilt with bone from his hip. These are small obstacles for Glenn.
Look, anytime he gets those angles, he does anything he wants to do. But then,
Oh, solid right up the eyes of Glenn Wolfe. As Toney becomes more,
He can punch, but it seems to change when he becomes a boxer.
who couldn't do that with Michael Nunn. But Toney,
Some room for improvement even as he wins.
He's funny. Hands.
But that's the difference, Tony. That's the boxer. Then we get the guy that's
in round number 7, punched that computer.
throwing enough punches. Here he's taking. Here's about.
Against another one of those flurries.
Strange things happen in boxing, but it just doesn't look like that's going to happen here tonight.
Well, we may be seeing a lot of James Toney in the year. James is home between fights. Not unusual for him to mop the floors and into 5-1 on this bout. I hope they've got some savings.
Here, open your mouth. Open.
Again, showing his stuff,
You hear me? You gotta come
but
back.
I'm afraid although if you're as precocious as this guy is, how do you stop him? Much develop over the next few years.
Well, not IBF champion. He was fighting for, and that would probably take a lot more out of him.
Julian Jackson, who he wants to go to 168 to fight Nigel Benn in England or Iran. Names like Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Robinson.
They are on the outside. Toney is much too quick for him. There's a good left hook by Wolfe. There's no question about that. And he's not going to get it with these inside.
And he really doesn't show any signs of being able.
Seems to be.
For a lucky knockout, guys. People have been more badly beaten up than Wolfe.
That's what we ran him down the mountains for every day, right? Okay.
Dies himself for round 10. 3 more frames against James Toney, who has been increasingly dominant. Wolfe had reached out and landed a right hand. Brings a whole new meaning to the term one-dimensional. It's a bad idea to take about 10 years off. Punched at numbers more busy as the bout has gone on.
That's a tough play. It doesn't always work that way. You try a little too hard, you get a little.
Well, Toney, like so many people like Terry Norris and Beldrick Taylor.
The one thing about Jim, pretty good bouncing around. Matter of fact, Toney is throwing those flurries. There really isn't too much on the punch.
He accepted the observation early, but he wasn't, so he didn't keep enough pressure on Wolfe early.
You make 3 good minutes, baby.
All right. Live from Las Vegas on HBO. And according to our filters, you have to see the champion, Toney, being well. Toney, the man who is managed by a woman.
That's by far the better footwork, by far the better boxer. Look at him.
For Toney, who toys now with Wolfe, and officials who are around here, helping to smooth.
Again, Glenn Wolfe, a one-dimensional fighter. Again,
35 years old, one of the great veterans, one of the great fighters in the sport over the last Raw. Previously, they will almost certainly meet again. And here, James appear to be an easy title-retaining victory.
He's a warrior.
yes, he is.
Still, IBF middleweight champion of the world, lights out, Toney.
Is that the strategy you employed, and how did it pay off?
Well,